Your host, and this is Community Forum. This evening, we're very fortunate to have with us two outstanding people that's interested in the North Chicago youth baseball teams. As a matter of fact, they're interested in forming one here in North Chicago. They knew about how successful it was years ago, and they want to reestablish it. And I salute them, and I thought these are people that you should know. Last week we had Chris Kennedy, the son of the late Robert Kennedy, the former Attorney General of the United States of America, on talking about top foods. He realized that this is a food desert here in North Chicago, and he wanted to include North Chicago as one of the sites. And so I thought this was fantastic. Jim Husel, he's the founder of Youth Baseball Alliance, sitting to my left, and he stated that he was interested in the city of North Chicago. So we have people outside of North Chicago interested in North Chicago because they see great potential in North Chicago, especially when it deals with youth. We have to his left is Bill Farrell, and he's a former college baseball player from Evanston, Illinois. So we are excited. Somebody is praying for North Chicago because we have outstanding people interested in and want to see it grow. Greetings, folks.
Hi, Dr. Brooks. How you doing?
All right, we're very happy that, literally, that you're taking time from your very busy schedule to be with us on Community Forum to help North Chicago grow. In your case, it's through baseball.
Yes, sir.
And I mentioned other areas that other people have been on the program getting involved. But Jim, before we start, I want you to tell our listening audience a little bit about your personal and professional background. Who is Jim Husel?
Yes, I'm a resident of Gurnee. I've lived in Gurnee for around 35 years. I presently work for a company called Foresight Solutions. We're an IT systems integrator out of Skokie, Illinois. Mm-hmm. And I've been very involved with youth baseball in the Gurnee and the North Shore area for a long time. I ran Gurnee Youth Baseball as a supervisor at different areas, and then I also coached teams in youth baseball there for quite a long time. And presently I'm the general manager of the Gurnee American Legion, our River Dog team, so I run our baseball program there. And I just love the sport. I've always loved baseball. Mm-hmm. And I have two children. I have my older son, Stephen. Stephen's 29 years old. He played at Warren High School. Baseball, he was a pitcher there, and he went on to play at Elmhurst College, where presently he's a part-time head coach, or a head coach at Elmhurst College part-time. And then also my younger son, Jonathan, who played at Carmel High School, and he went on to play at the College of Worcester, and that's where he met Bill Farrell, good friends of ours, and he played baseball there, and now he's graduated and he has a job and is working, and he's going to help me out with this program also.
Well, tell us, why is baseball so important in the Husel family?
Well, I've just always had a love for the game. Not that I was any good at baseball when I played. It was more through my children. But okay. I've always loved the sport. I think there's a certain attributes that baseball bring to an individual. And part of it is self-discipline and focus. And it just brings a sense of calmness to people, and then they kind of learn something about themselves when they play baseball. I love the game the way it's played in terms of the, you can hang on every pitch, you can hang on every swing. I love other sports like basketball and football, but baseball is my number one love.
Well, Bill Farrell.
Yes, sir.
I want to give you the same opportunity that I gave Jim. Tell our listening audience a little bit about your personal professional background.
Of course. By the way, thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate it. My name is William McKnight Farrow IV. I'm the first son of Sandra Farrow and William McKnight Farrow III. Okay. I started playing ball when I was 9. and played all the way till college. I guess I'm retired now. Yeah, it's just, baseball is just something I've always done. It was my first love, and I'm from a basketball family. You know, my granddad played in the NBL. My, dad played at a high level for a long time. And I kind of ventured off into this sport, kind of what Mr. Huesel talked about, kind of the mysticism behind it really sucked me in. Where for just a brief moment, the universe kind of focuses on you and you're the center of attention. I really like that. So that's why I took it into high school, Evanston Township High School. I did 4 sports there. I did a little bit of golf, a little bit of wrestling, a couple years of basketball, 4 years of baseball. And then I took baseball into college at the College of Worcester where, I played 4 years there before I got injured. That's pretty much the brief rundown.
Well, why is sports so important, especially in your case, baseball? Why is it so important?
Sports in general, it exposes you. You're put in situations where you succeed, and you're put in situations where you might not do so well. And ultimately, that's important because just like anything, you're going to have your ups and downs and how you respond. How you grow from success and rejection. And you also learn that through sports that you have to rely on people too. You can't just do your thing all the time, which I think is very important. You have to learn to be trusting of others, accepting of others, no matter what sport you play. Now, in regards to baseball, I kind of touched on the mysticism where you have to take care of your individual duty. And when doing that, that kind of makes everything go. The team can do well as long as you're handling your job to the best of your ability. I also love baseball because it's really hard. And nobody really wants to be great at something that anybody can do. People want to be great at things that are difficult. And if you're good at baseball, something that's very hard to do, you're like the baddest man on the planet. There's nothing like it. You're just a bad dude.
With youth though, academics has to be highlighted because the baseball career may end at any time. In your case, you say you got injured, right?
Yes, sir.
And we see so many players now at all levels. They get injured, and that's it. What do they have to fall back on? So we encourage, and we'll talk about too as we go along, the importance of emphasizing academics while they play in the sports.
Yeah, academics are very important, and part of the program that I'm starting, Youth Baseball Alliance, academics are going to be a key component of it because I don't want the kids just to play sports and for just the sporting aspect of it and that. I want it to be a vehicle for them to succeed at the high school level, to succeed at the college level. And part of the design of the program is we want to track them through the program and help them. We want to make sure they're doing good in school. We also want to make sure that they have success on the field. We want them to have a good time for sure. I mean, this isn't going to be, we're not trying to make it impossible. We want them to have a good time, learn a sport, get good instruction, and feel good about themselves. Because there's nothing like a baseball player who maybe all season has really a tough time. I remember a kid when my son was in about 7th grade, and all season he was having a real rough time, and we had a playoff game, and he's the one. He never got a hit during the whole season. In the playoff game, he got the winning hit, and that's a play that he's going to remember for the rest of his life. So that's the kind of experience I want the youth of North Chicago to have, because they have the other sports that are in the community, but I think baseball is really sorely missing in North Chicago, and that's what I want to do. I want to solve that problem.
I can relate to instance, if I can, at this point. I tried to run track when I was in high school, and I tried to run a 440 yard. It was a dash. No, I guess it was a run now, but now it's a dash, okay? But for 330 yards, could no one touch me but that last 110. And if you know track, you know what I'm talking about. That last 100, I gave it all out in the 330. The coach told me, Coach Cogdell, I will forget him. He said, Brooks, because I hadn't won a race all year. If you win this last race, I give you a letter. You know, okay, Coach. So when the report came out in the newspapers, the next day it was Allen got first, Smith second, Jones third. Brooks also ran.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. The truth. And so that was my senior year, and I haven't run. That's my experience in sports there. But what about Youth Baseball Alliance? Why did you start Youth Baseball Alliance?
Well, here's how this all started. I'm in a business meeting in Las Vegas. This is just about a year ago today, Doctor.
Okay.
And in the USA Today that day was an article about the lack of African American kids playing baseball.
Oh.
And I was talking to the gentleman next to me, and he's from Omaha, Nebraska, and we just started talking about the article, and I said, you know, as a matter of fact, there's a community near Gurnee that I just don't see any kids playing baseball there. Matter of fact, when my older son was at Warren High School, and we would play North Chicago High School, it was kind of sad because you could see the kids were trying, but they didn't have you could tell they weren't coming through an organized program.
Okay.
So I'm talking to this gentleman next to me, and his name was Marty McCassin, and Marty said, well, we've kind of solved that problem. What we've done in Omaha, Nebraska is we take the kids and we put them into existing programs. So it's hard in a lot of communities to start a baseball program internally because you need all this help. You need all the parents involved. You need a lot of coaches. You need fields. There's just a lot of parts and pieces for a baseball organization to exist and to work. And what they did in Omaha was put the children into other programs that are existing that have been around for a long time. And I thought to myself, you know, North Chicago is perfect. We got a lot of good communities around North Chicago with great baseball programs. Why don't we give it a try there? And that was kind of the genesis of the whole idea of bringing it here. So last year, I reached out into the community at that time, and what I did is I went out to the Foss Park District and talked to them about it, and there was a lot of interest there. And then I did a survey at the local grade schools, and I handed out the survey just to get a feeling on how many children would be involved in the program and would have interest. And I got back about 49 respondents from the survey showing there was at least 49 kids or parents of children in North Chicago that were interested in a youth baseball program. And
So they were just looking for direction.
They were just looking for direction in that. And I'm not reinventing anything. I'm just trying to connect the dots, to be honest with you, Dr. Brooks. And last year at the end of the survey, I still couldn't find anybody in the community that would really take ownership in it because I did not know anybody in the community. And Dr. Brooks, what changed that is when I got to meet you, when I'm working as a cameraman on your TV show, you have helped me make all those connections and that's been the difference maker this year. By knowing you and the people you've introduced me to, there is so much interest. There's interest at the grade school level, there's interest at the high school level, there's interest from parents, there's interest from the park district. So there is interest in this community for baseball. There's no doubt about it.
What about the athletic director at Foss Park District? Have you met him?
Yes,
I told him about it.
Yes, matter of fact, I went over and met with Michael Bone. Matter of fact, we had a meeting last Thursday with Michael Bone, and then we had a representative from Lake Bluff Baseball program because they have a real nice existing program there. And then we had some people from a company or a nonprofit called the Sports Shed. And the Sports Shed will help us get equipment, baseball equipment for the kids to play with in that. So we had a really good meeting last week, and we're talking about organizational matters for the program. And I can tell you the Lake Bluff people couldn't be more receptive to bringing kids into their program.
This is fantastic. You know, I keep speaking about outside people coming in, want to make, because North Chicago is an ideal location right by the lake and right by Abbott to the east, Great Lakes to the south, I guess, and you got the Baxter and all type of employment around, and it's a great city. But
it's a great community, yeah. It's got so much potential I know from a sporting standpoint. We know it's fielded great basketball teams and great football teams. Kind of my goal is I'd like to see North Chicago High School win a state championship. That's going to be a couple years down the road, but that's kind of my personal goal.
So baseball.
Baseball, absolutely.
Because the basketball almost.
Almost,
they got
right.
right there. Coach Coleman, I
Yes.
guess, got there. I think they went twice in a row down in the Final Four and
Yep.
this type of thing. So, the challenge is there, and it takes a person like you to make it click. I
Yeah,
guess,
it's just connecting the dots. Like I said, there's the interest in the community, and as I've reached out to, last week they had a program at North Chicago High School that was a resource fair for the parents in the community, and I attended there, and I had kids come up to me and that were very interested in baseball. They want to play baseball. Some of them had to go to other programs to try to find it, but they didn't have any really coaching available. Then also there are a lot of kids that are playing soccer and that. So I think if we get a program established here, get them the equipment that they're going to need, give them the training that they're going to need, because the players in the other communities are working all year long on their sport. And that's where the kids in North Chicago, they need some assistance in that area.
Well, Bill, I can see why you're connected with Jim, because if you're as fired up as he is, I know it's going to be a go. How did you get connected with Bill?
With youth baseball or
Baseball.
Well, I initially met Mr. Husel because I'm a teammate of his son at the College of Worcester.
Okay.
And John was talking to me about all these ambitions that Mr. Husel had.
Okay.
And how could I not be inspired by that? Anybody who's looking to connect the dots, like Mr. Husel was talking about,
Okay.
just to be a part of that, and to, if a young kid is looking for direction, assist in providing that direction.
Okay.
I think that's really important. I guess, obviously, playing youth baseball for a number of years, the draw is, you get out of school or whatever towards the end of the school year, the sun is shining, I'm going to go hang out with 13 of my best friends on a baseball diamond and, just, play. Like,
Okay.
what more do you want? You know what I mean? You just go,
Yeah.
you just go play, and bringing back those memories, anywhere from like my first home run as a 10-year-old to winning my first championship as a 10-year-old in like house league. Those are things that you never really forget. Those are things that you always really hang on to. And he kind of reignited those memories that maybe I forgot.
Okay.
And immediately I wanted to jump on board and help out any way I could.
Tell us about how are you able to coach and assist them? What part would you play?
Well, I guess I'll preface that by saying I've coached before. When I was recovering from an injury, in going into senior year of college, I kind of coached this group of 12-year-olds, the North Shore Water Dogs, and I just fell in love because you get to help kids unlock that passion that we were just talking about. When you're seeing a group of kids every day, and you really get to know them and they get to know you, and all of a sudden you see them make this huge improvement and their eyes just light up, and naturally their parents' eyes light up because they know how hard their kid has been working. That's kind of how I want to insert myself. Just continue to be a coach, and to continue to provide that kind of aha moment where the kid makes that exponential leap in skill, and obviously that leads to all the great memories we talked about, just the life lessons you can learn being committed to a craft, fighting through the difficult period, all that stuff. And that's how I want to help out, just to provide that.
How important it is for parental involvement? Loaded question.
I think if the parents are there, supporting, sometimes, and I'm not a parent, so I don't know yet, but sometimes we have parents who want to, insert themselves directly into, what's going on. And as long as parents are, involved, coming to games, keeping themselves, as knowledgeable as possible about, the process, the sport, and just being as positive as possible, by all means, let's get as many parents in as we can, because, there's strength in numbers. The more people you pull in, ultimately the better.
Yeah, I think it's important for parents to participate as a spectator of a sport for the kids. You know, the children know if you're there or if you're not there. And if you're there, the influence you can have on them the rest of their lives is tremendous. I know some instances from both of my children where the parents that didn't show up, they're paying the price right now with those kids because they weren't around there to help them and be with them and show them that they love them and appreciate what they're doing. And that because when you learn a sport like baseball, like Bill mentioned, there's a lot of ups and downs with the sport. And sometimes, you know, they're going to get into up the bat in a critical situation and they're going to fail. And the team's going to lose. And the team will be all right with that and the coach will be all right with that because that's part of the game. When you figure in baseball, you fail more than you succeed with baseball. But when the parent's not there to help and guide the child and kind of make sense of what just happened, and the kid has to take that on themselves and figure it out. Sometimes that could be very difficult. So I want to encourage parents to be involved from a spectator standpoint. I think we're going to have very good coaching for the children. We're going to help them through that area. There's a lot of resources that we can take advantage of in terms of the kids learning the game. But for parents to be there, Dr. Brooks, is huge.
That must have been very encouraging for you to see 47 children coming out, because if you could get 47 parents, you know, or either one of the parents, you know, both parents would be great. That would be very encouraging for the kids and also for the program.
I agree, and the other, I think the other benefit of this approach to the program is two communities getting to know one another. I think that's very important. That's a part that they've noticed in Omaha is that here you have different communities getting to know one another and kids from different communities getting to know one another, and that's huge. A short story, so when I'm doing the American Legion baseball, one of the games we played in a summer league, and where did we play? We played Evanston. We played against Bill's American Legion team.
I remember this.
And this is the first time we met Bill prior to going to College of Worcester. Little did we know that my son, who was on the other team, were going to be teammates in college. I mean, what a small world. And that happens in sports all the time. So it's not just the sports that you learn, it's the friendships that you make there and the pathways that you have in future in life. Is that it's amazing what happens.
Did you find out why there was no baseball team in North Chicago?
I just think that it's a combination. I know, I forgot the coach's name, but I used to know this was a couple years back, the high school coach at North Chicago, and I know he was very involved in youth baseball because I used to help run Mike's Memorial League, which is a youth baseball travel team league in that. And it just kind of broke down. You know, I think the program that they had at one time, if it takes a lot of hours to make a baseball program work.
And feeder programs too. You have Little League, and I
Right.
guess you have the high school level. So had you thought about each level, or just the high school or
Well,
grade school?
what I'm thinking about the program is what they learned in Omaha is you got to start the kids young. That's so important. If you don't get them and teach them the basics, by the time they're in high school, they're not going to pick up the sport in 4 years. It's nearly impossible. I remember talking to some of the high school coaches in the past at North Chicago, and they said they see athletes in the gym, and they thought, oh, if he was just a baseball player in that. So we have to start them young, and that's what they did in Omaha. And what they're seeing is they've been doing it for about 7 or 8 years right now. They're just seeing their first group of kids go into high school, and what a difference it's making for them. And that so we can work around, you know, getting the kids, but we got to start them young. But I don't want to leave any kid out of the program either. If there's a child that wants to play that's older, we'll try to find a program for them to fit into and get them the instruction they need.
Well, what about funding? And you know, that's equipment that you're going to have. But,
Yeah. So what we determined is it's going to cost $100 per child to play. So that's going to be what we're going to charge. As a matter of fact, all this information will be handed out at the schools this week. So there'll be forms given out by the teachers, but it'll cost about $100. It will be $100 per child to play in the program in that. And
that's for For the whole summer or for the school year?
Yeah, it's really, the season usually ends right around about the first or second week in July is about when the season ends. Because
Okay.
what happens, that's when, this will be all in-house baseball. And then after that, that's when you start the travel teams and that. I don't anticipate too many kids going the travel team route because most of those teams have kind of been selected this year. But going into next year, we'll be able to identify kids that maybe qualify for more of a travel program because we want to keep them interested in the game and that. But you have to build a good foundation in baseball. And the good foundation starts in T-ball and in Pinto when they're little.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask Bill about the criteria for being an athlete. I say athlete, it could maybe baseball, basketball, football, but there's certain criteria. Like I never could fit the bill. I was tall, but that was a requirement for playing basketball, but that was more than just height, you know. I never did play basketball.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the physical tools, and you can quantify it all you want, you just have to love it. Like
Okay.
if you love something, you do it, and you
Okay.
do it to the best of your ability. And I think that's what Mr. Husel is trying to do. He's opening avenues so these kids can figure out what they like and what they don't. You know, and if they do like it, become as good as they can at something they love.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I mean, you can never project where a 5-year-old is going to be. Like, you never know if he's going to play college baseball. I mean, I thought I was going to be a pro baseball player, but that's outside the point. But you just want to commit yourself fully to it. And I mean, there's so many different criteria that kind of fall under that. We talked about the parents. One of the reasons I love baseball so much is because when I would go up to bat, the first person I'd look for is my dad and then my mom.
Okay.
Like, okay, are they watching? Because if I do something good, I mean,
Right.
like, yeah, you know, you do it for mom and dad. That's the whole "hi mom" moment on camera. You know what I mean?
My son.
Yeah, exactly right. So I mean, you got to love it, and if you love it, you know, your parents will love it, and if your family loves it, then you can connect with a bunch of other people that love it. But it starts with the love, and you need to find out if you do love, you know, whatever you're committing yourself to. And again, I think that's what you're trying to do, right? Just figure out, help kids figure out, you know, where they want to be.
He mentioned one thing too: getting along with others too, and that's what you're. This is a key factor too. It's not an individual sport. No sports are as individual sports to get along, and also, well, physical preparedness. There has to be a desire to be successful, and then you would give them that what it takes.
That's right. Yeah, you need to. There's the mental aspect and there's the physical aspect in that. And I think all kids have the physical aspect of being successful at it, and the mental aspect. They can grow into becoming baseball players in that. And not everybody's going to succeed with it, but if you develop a love for the game of baseball as a child, you kind of carry it with you the rest of your life in that. And you'll appreciate going to the games as you get older. And who knows, you might even be on the field someday playing for a team and play at a professional level. But this isn't about the professional level. It's about learning discipline, self-respect, working with teammates, because a team is very important in baseball. I mean, the ball can go almost any place in the field. You need everybody to work together as a team in that. But then also, it's family. You'll see a lot of family members at different games in that. That's how Bill and I met, and I met his parents in that. We became friends in that because we're attending games together, and you're attending them when it's cold outside, you know, when it's early spring and it's still cold outside, and then into the heat of summer and that. And you develop relationship with other parents in that, and you develop a bond, and that's something in some of the sports you don't, because baseballs can tend to be a little longer games than other sports in that. So you get a chance to communicate with other parents in the community in that.
Great. The world doesn't evolve just in North Chicago. They found out there's Lake County and there's the state, and there's the team in Chicago found out that, you know, there's a bigger world than just south side of Chicago.
There really is, and part of the program, other things we're going to try to do is I want to take the kids to I want their ambition to go to college, to be honest with
Okay.
you, Doctor. That's what I wanted to do. I want them to go to like a Northwestern game, if we can go down to there and watch them play. I want them to succeed academically, but we can go to Northwestern games and meet the players down there. I want them to get an opportunity to go to a professional game and to go to a White Sox game and see that in action. And one of the things about baseball is you can kind of watch, you can learn some stuff by watching the game too.
Okay.
So you find out the children that actually watch the game actually develop a little quicker than they don't, because they start seeing, how do you stand with the baseball, how do you stand with, hold a bat, how do you approach the game and that. So there's so many other things we can teach the children in our program that will benefit them, not only on the field, but really off the field.
Both of you are providing a wealth of information that I'm going to make sure that it airs on YouTube and also online, which will go all over the world.
Yep.
Online, right?
Yes.
So this will be, and I'll try to do it as soon as possible. My videographer got on me and he encouraged me, and he almost demanded that this be shown as soon as possible, because you have some great ideas. I like the vision that you have, and both of you are visionaries, and I want to thank you very much, for sharing that. What about let's see, what changed in 2015 for the program?
Well, what really changed in 2015 was you, Dr. Brooks.
Yeah, the
Okay, so
2015.
yeah, 2015, yeah, because when I started working with you, like in December, I started working on your
Okay.
TV show,
Okay.
started making the contacts, and then all of a sudden, the more people I talked to within North Chicago, the more people I found out that even when I went to the teachers and did the surveys last year, the school administration was saying, yeah, we need a baseball program here.
Oh, okay.
And so now that I've reached out into the North Chicago Community School District, they're going to really support the program. But that's what the difference was, the connecting the dots.
Okay, I got you.
And if we can get the community behind this and communicate it to the parents and the community, I think we can have a very successful program. And the ultimate goal would be to have to get to the point where we could have a standalone program in North Chicago. To do that, we needed to have enough teams so there's competition, because you don't want to have just two teams at each age level. That could be pretty boring baseball, playing the same team every week and that. So when we talked to the folks at Lake Bluff last week, and also I also want to comment that Gurnee Youth Baseball will be involved too. If we need help with teams for them to plan, Gurnee Youth Baseball has already stood up, and I know a lot of baseball people in Lake County that will help this program, because when I talk to baseball people about North Chicago, they all know that there's great baseball players in this community. We just got to get them and teach them the game and get them out. But we can make a big difference with that.
Also, Bill, another point was made about using, well, I say whole sports, but especially baseball as a vehicle to going to college.
Yeah.
Because that may be some kids probably never would get to college.
Yeah. No,
Unless they have a grant or something like this.
Yeah.
But this would be a great vehicle, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. You can get scholarships or whatever to kind of go to college. They pay for your college. Division III, that's where I played. You don't get athletic scholarships, right? But baseball gifted me with enough individual discipline where I committed myself and created balance among my academics, my sport, my social life, and I ended up getting around $100,000 of my college paid.
Wow.
Just because of all these values that Mr. Husel is talking about, and I'm too young to kind of like realize that all these things happen, but
Right.
all these values were kind of instilled in me early, and it just carried out throughout the years. So yeah, whether it's an athletic scholarship or it translates into an academic scholarship because an individual has developed discipline, or anything like that, really. That's what sports does. It makes you a more well-rounded individual. You have more perspective. You can see the world, you can't see the whole world, but you can see it a little bit broader because you put yourself in a couple different areas.
It's great that you join us, because we live in a global society now. It's global. It's not just competing just against your neighbors or the other people on the team, you know. And so prepare yourself for global involvement, then gonna have to go to college.
You have to. You have to. To compete in this world, you know, in terms of when you look at this recession we went through years ago, if you look at the folks with their college degrees, a lot of them were working. You know what I mean? So if we can get the kids to aspire for a college degree, like Bill mentioned, he played Division III. Both of my sons played Division III. There is some really darn good baseball at that level. And if you're an athlete and you want to play at the next level, they'll find you. So there's a lot of opportunity there. But at a Division III, academics are very important in that. And I want the kids to aspire to get a college degree because that can be life-changing for them and for their parents and for their family and everybody.
And some of the kids will probably be first generation going to college,
Right.
not graduating from college, but even going to college.
Right.
Right.
Right. And to be the first generation, nothing would make me feel better from the Youth Baseball Alliance perspective to see that first generation child go on to college and that. And that's one of the aspects is we're going to track the kids. We're going to be there to help them and give them the answers because sometimes they don't have the connections. This world is about meeting people and knowing people. Like I said before, my program wouldn't be without meeting you, Dr. Brooks, because I wouldn't know anybody in North Chicago to help in that. So by getting to meet people, that can be life-changing because people want to help people. They just got to get to know you in that.
Okay.
And I was over at the Foss Park District Youth Center the other day watching some young kids playing basketball, and I'm just already trying to work them on baseball and stuff like that.
Right,
but
right.
what a great group of kids I saw over there.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Well, let's talk about role models. The position that plays in a child's life. It's not only baseball, but all role models could be applied all over, right? But the Ernie Bankses and Billy Williams and San Francisco home run, King, what's his home run king from San Francisco?
Talking about Willie Mays or
Barry
Barry
Bonds.
Bonds?
Barry Bonds. I was talking with my wife the other night, and I remember his daughter, because he used to walk him. You know, he probably got the record of walks. You know, but she would scream from the stands, "Pitch to my daddy!" You know, so that was. I still remember that. You know, they say so. Role models play a key role to it.
Yeah. You know, sports in general, but obviously we're going to focus on ball. There's like a certain mysticism, again, with a professional baseball player, the amount of class that most of these guys carry themselves with. Obviously, there's a few exceptions everywhere, but I'd say the majority of baseball players always carry themselves, you know, very, you know, proper, you know, first-class guys who understand that they're in a rare position being watched. And they know how to carry themselves in that. And even if you're not a professional athlete, it's that professionalism that you kind of get early. I'm not going to say I'm like a role model or anything, but I got a brother who's 5 years younger than me, and even before, you know, I could drive or anything, I would go to his practices so an older kid could be around the younger kids on how to kind of handle your business, you know, learn a sport, anything like that. Because, you know, anybody just being there helps, as long as they're out there for the right reasons. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's important. So I've always been with my brother's teams, whether it be basketball, soccer, baseball, all the way up, and he's a senior in high school now. And, you know, they all become your little brothers because you look out for them in a way.
Tell us about Evanston. The mayor I was thinking of, it just dawned on me, Lorraine Martin. Yeah, and she's retired. She was a mayor of Evanston. She retired. I guess she's still living in Evanston now, right? She was on the program here, came up. So I felt real good, you know, have the mayor come up here to be on my program, you know, but through connections, you know, this type of thing. But she was I know what, she was a principal before she became mayor.
Okay.
Right? And so actually she had a love for kids too.
Yeah, and
And that's what you have to, and you have to have role models like that you see in positions, to encourage you to go on.
yeah, of course. Like Mr. Husel's been saying, it starts early. And if you can pull on multiple examples on, wow, this person carries himself well, this person, handles their business correctly, knows how to, take care of their business. Even if you're 6 years old, you can see it and just do it. Okay, maybe I should sit up a little bit straighter. Or, maybe I should make sure I'm at class on time. Because the person that I kind of want to be like does all that stuff. And I mean, it's no different when we start working with these kids in this baseball program. You're going to surround them with, the most professionals that you can find, and instill these values, that work ethic, all those core principles that make an adult a respectable member of their community. And ultimately, maybe a kid does become a professional ball player, and maybe you don't, but they'll have those experiences, to draw upon.
Bill, I got the word that you started at 9 years old, started playing.
Yeah.
And you're a former college baseball player. Tell us
Yes,
about the challenges that you experienced.
I guess we'll start young. I was a perfectionist when I was younger.
Okay.
9 years old, baseball's a hard sport. It's filled with error. I messed up the first time, and I just blew a gasket. I just lost it. I stormed off the field, whatever. You get schooled by your parent, or you get yelled at by your parents. You schooled by your coaches, and you just, the ups and downs, you grow up, right?
Okay.
College, get there, have some success early. I hurt my shoulder, and you're kind of removed from the player's perspective, and you kind of gather every other perspective. What it's like to be hurt, and how you're still, be as good of a teammate as you can be. Even if somebody might be playing the position you play, you still want them to genuinely do well because the team is more important than you. You just gain this perspective, and that's a pretty good summation of my baseball career. There have been some real high highs, and there's also been some real low lows, but it gave me this complete experience, which I'm, very grateful for in the end.
I guess girls would be, softball? You don't find girls baseball team, do you?
No,
Well, in youth, in T-ball, you'll have girls playing T-ball. Oh, yeah, matter of fact.
obviously Monet Davis is the big star.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right.
But I remember there were a couple of girls.
Philadelphia.
There was a couple girls on other teams at like 13, 14, but I don't remember seeing any girls in high school ball.
No, not in high
Yeah,
school.
They just
Yeah.
they sifted off into softball or
Into softball.
did something else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most of the girls will start off in T-ball
Okay.
and go through the and that's why we call it youth. It's not boys baseball, it's youth baseball.
Okay.
They'll play in there. So we had a girl over in Gurnee, Lindsay Horowitz, I remember her name today. Lindsay did everything technically right in terms of the way she would swing, the way she would catch a ground ball, the way she would pitch. And but when you get into high school baseball, physically, a woman's not gonna. That's gonna be a tougher battle there. So she went on and had a great career in softball at Warren High School and that. So this is still a building block for them to play softball when they get at the high school level and that.
Now, what age groups will your program serve?
So we'll start at kindergarten,
Oh.
and we'll go right on up there. So kindergarten first grade will be T-ball, and then first and second we'll have some T-ball component, and then go into Pinto, and then there's then they go into Mustang and Bronco, and then you get into older ages. You start getting into Pony League, which is kind of in the middle school
Yeah,
ages
13,
and that.
14.
And then when you get into Colt level is when you're in the high school. There's Colt programs. And what's great about baseball also is what we discovered here in Lake County is fall baseball is fantastic. So most of the baseball programs run in the spring until early summer. And then about probably 10, 11 years ago, Mundelein was the first program I knew about that had a fall baseball program. And fall was a glorious time to play baseball. So we have fall baseball programs too, so there's an opportunity to play then. In fall, we do compete with football programs are
Yeah.
starting there. But we'll compete with them because fall baseball, it's beautiful to be outside, and you're not running all those laps like you are in football and stuff. You don't have to have all that heavy equipment on you.
Speaking of equipment now, you mentioned there's $100 fee for the year, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
Well, for the season, for the
For
season, yeah.
season, I say, yep, right. And that includes what the.
Yeah, so the only equipment a player needs is when you're on a team, you'll get the jersey
Okay.
as part of that, and so you're going to need the slacks or the pants for the uniform, and then you're going to need probably some baseball socks, and you're going to need a mitt, and you're going to need access to a bat. But we're going to be working with the
Shoes too,
shoes, baseball shoes, right? So we're going to be working with the sports shed on that, and they're pretty sure that they're going to help supply that equipment for us in that. So equipment won't be a stumbling block for the kids to play in the program.
Okay, well, the $64,000 question is, where can the parents sign up?
Okay, the $64,000 question in that. So I just sent out the forms, went out to the school district as of this morning because they were off yesterday for President's Day. So the form should be going out to the schools tomorrow morning, I hope, or this week for sure. I encourage the parents to fill out the form. We don't need any money right now. This is just to get registration so we know that you're interested, because we have to give the Lake Bluff people an opportunity to kind of figure out where, how many kids might be come over to the program, and to see if we have to maybe swing some kids over into the Gurnee program and that. We also have a website, youthba.org, which stands for Youth Baseball Alliance. But it's youthba.org, and I have some information on there, and I have the forms up there in a PDF format you can download, print, and fill in there. There's also an opportunity to send an information link in there. Also, there is my the email address, which is yba4kids@gmail.com. And then also we have as you can see up on the screen right now, is our phone number, 847-984-3500. I'll be there. You can give me a call if you have any questions on the program. It's important to get registered as soon as possible, because things start happening pretty quick. In the first week in March, there'll be not a tryout, but just an evaluation to kind of see where your skill level is in that, so we can kind of understand where you fit in, where they need to put you into the program and that. And that's going to be on either a Saturday or Sunday. We'll let everybody know on that. You'll just go in there. It won't take a long time. They just want to see how you throw the ball, if you can catch it, can you hit a ball, and then they'll kind of judge, and then they'll be drafting the teams in that. Like I said, the games will be played in the Lake Bluff. I looked at a map. The furthest field away from the North Chicago Youth Center, from Foss Park, is just like 15 minutes away. It's not far at all. And if transportation is an issue, we're going to see if we can help out in that way, some shape or form.
Well, Bill, in Evanston, did you have a lot of community support? I know Jim mentioned no support from the community except for the Foss Park District, right? This is a unique community. I can congratulate that. I've been living here a long time, and I've been trying to find out a solution. I know there's no magic wand you could wave in the community, but I haven't been able to figure it out yet. What about Evanston? Evanston is mostly I look up as the elite community. Is that? This some years back now. I haven't been down there last.
No, I'm
10 years.
I'm living there right now, obviously. In terms of like the support for all our youth sports,
Okay.
I'd say it's pretty top. Baseball.
These are pretty tough.
No, top.
Top?
It's top
Okay,
notch.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was
that's
a
what
little
I've been
bit
hearing.
Yeah, the total youth sport experience is pretty good.
Okay.
In terms of baseball in particular, because we have James Park, which is a collection of like 8 diamonds,
Okay.
one convenient location that you
Wow.
can go. Yeah, it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. Now, I don't know how I got that strong. This was way before me.
Okay.
I just remember, and I go down to James Park throughout the summer anyway, just to kind of check it and return to the roots and everything.
Yeah.
And there's always a good amount of people just running around.
Wow.
And again, if I knew the secret formula, I would bottle it up and sell that to you.
Yeah.
But
You would donate it to me, right? Yeah, yeah.
Donate it, sure.
And Jim, I know you thought about it too, though, right? But you're sticking with Falls Park District. You have the support there, so.
I have the support there. You know, the ball fields down on the lakefront are really top-notch ball fields.
Okay.
We're going to have to work on some of the other fields we need to fix up, but right now we won't have to face that because we'll be using the Lake Bluff fields. We'll be playing in their program and that.
Oh, okay.
So, which is the perfect situation, to be honest with you. And then as we build up the interest level in the community and the parents get involved more and more, then we'll work on getting the fields here. But the other thing that they're going to need is when they're not on the fields, they're going to need the capability of practicing. Because when you where you really develop your skill for baseball is off season.
Okay.
So I understand that Floss Park just purchased one of the old schools here, and they're fixing that up.
Oh, yes, Novak King.
Novak King. So I was also talking with Michael Bone about that, and I could see taking a classroom and turning it into a batting cage. What do you think about that, Bill? That would be pretty neat, wouldn't it?
You know me, I was a hitter, so
Yeah,
the more swings you can
that's
get,
right, yeah.
the more swings you can get.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'd do that.
And that's the kind of stuff. So, Michael, I talked to Michael about getting some baseball equipment in there, and we'll work on that. We're going to have to do some fundraising around that, but we'll figure it out. Where there's a will, there's a way.
And you call this the Youth Alliance.
Yeah,
right?
Youth Baseball Alliance. And
Okay.
why I say alliance is
Yeah.
it's not just our program, it's other communities helping us in the area. And I can tell you, when I talk to other community members, there's no hesitation whatsoever. They want to help out. They know that it's for the children, and they'll do anything to help out. And that's really a warm feeling. It's a Christian feeling that you feel from other communities, that they want to help out these kids. And we know it can be life-changing, because we were talking before about the influence of coaching, but the influence of other kids can be tremendous.
Okay, okay, the peer.
Peer-to-peer, absolutely.
Jim, do you have any time for leisure time activities?
I do have a full-time job. I am a member of the Gurnee American Legion, so I'm involved with that. The reason I came here originally was to Comcast Public Access, was to do my own TV program on veterans issues and that, and then to get that started. Then I met you, and that which helped my baseball. But I want to help out. I want to help out the communities. I want to help out the children. I know what a difference it can make.
So you have a heavy background in coaching, is because of your kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my older son, I didn't coach my older son. I coached my younger son. So I was an observer of my older son playing baseball, and just was in the stands all the time. I was at every game.
Okay.
Then I kind of figured out the game, and I figured I'd try coaching. And I coached until they were like 14 on the field, and then I found out the game's too fast for me. Then when they get to high school, it's way too fast for me. So then I moved into observer status, and now, like I said, I'm a general manager for the Gurnee River Dogs, and
Okay.
that's a good place. My son does the coaching, and I just do the observing and managing.
Now, what is your profession?
I'm fresh out of college. I work for
Oh,
the
okay.
Chicago White Sox in the ticket sales office. I'm an intern.
Oh, my goodness, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found something I loved. I wanted to pursue it since I couldn't play anymore, and
Right.
I'm working 9 to 5 at U.S. Cellular Field every day. So it's definitely not a bad first gig.
Did that, your background have a lot to do with it? Getting
Yeah, I
getting a
mean,
job there?
just playing, and obviously going to a good school. College of Worcester is a real good school. And I was an English major. I don't know how that really worked, but,
Connected.
it just happened. So
Right,
I'll
right,
roll with
right.
it.
Yeah, Bill's going to be a future general manager of a Major League Baseball
Yeah, well,
program. We know that for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, what do you see after school year? What do you think you maybe? What you
Well,
vision?
I think, we'll get the registration going right now. As we get the registration and we'll hear about the kids, we'll be able to get them put onto programs and that. And then from that, we can start, once we get them into the baseball program, my work's kind of over with it right then, and I'll start working on getting that the winter program going and finding fall programs and stuff like that. So we got work to do, but we'll be successful at it, Doctor. I know we will.
Well, Jim Husel, you're the founder of the Youth Baseball Alliance, Gurnee, Illinois.
Yes.
Bill Farrow, a former college baseball player, started playing at 9 years old. And we want to thank both of you for your interest in North Chicago baseball. You're a founder of the Youth Baseball Alliance, and we hope that you have a lot of success and you have a good start. You had 47 children interested in the program, and we're going to try to see if we can get more interest from people watching this program, that more from the community along with the Falls Park District. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you have enjoyed watching the program, and we hope that the North Chicago Youth Baseball team would come to fruition. This has been Community Forum. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.